Oh, morning. Ugh. I tell you what, I should really have brought a sleeping bag. Clearly an amateur at this bike packing malarkey. Right, day 2 at the Taipei Cycle Show. I need to find some breakfast, and then we're going to go look for some more awesome tech. Just stopped by at our friends at Kask because I wanted to check out their new glasses. Now, strictly speaking, these are not Kask, they are Coup, which is their new sister brand. But I'm rather partial to these. We saw them a while ago, actually, but they first hit the shelves in December. Now, hopefully I can carry these off and do them justice. Made in Italy, Zeiss lenses, but Kask really know what cyclists want, and that is the ability to match your glasses with your helmet. See? Over the straps, naturally. SpeedX have caused quite a stir on the market since they launched a short time ago, in part because the bikes are so keenly priced, but then also because of their admirable determination to develop their own smart tech. Now, this one next to me here is the Unicorn, which is still very much in a prototype stage. It's got their famous head unit, but then they're also developing this, which is their new own power meter. Now, as I said, it's a prototype, hence the rotor cranks and the FSA chainrings. But the important bit, the guts of this, are all their own. Details are a little bit sketchy, but perhaps, given that it's a SpeedX, the important thing is that this whole bike, with Ultegra Di2 and power meter, is just $3,400, they think, and it's going to start shipping in early May. And then there will be 2 above this, including one with SRAM Red ETAP HRD. E-bikes leave you a little bit confused as to whether or not they are road bikes or indeed motorbikes, then this one is going to blur that boundary even more. It's coast cycles. Now, they've got a whole load of bikes in their range, but I've gravitated towards this one because they tell me if you used it on the road, it would be highly illegal. It's got a 1,000-watt motor on there, and unlike most pedal assist bikes, you actually don't need to pedal at all if you don't wish. You could just sit there, pull the throttle, and you've got 1,000 watts at your disposal. That is cool. Hey, tech geeks, come over here. This is really good, right? We're at the Jaguar Stand, so they're the kind of cable and housing specialists. And this is really good. There's quite a lot of weight in your gear cables, and so Jaguar have managed to strip out 50% of that weight, making it potentially one of the most cost-effective weight savings out there. So for weight weenies, listen up, right? So this is a standard gear cable outer, loads of steel in there. And so what they've done is effectively removed most of that steel, and instead of having it in like longitudinal waves, they've actually kind of braided it, but then sort of incorporated it into the actual polymer liner, meaning that it wouldn't be strong enough for brakes, but for gear cables, it's perfect. And you could save potentially 50 grams for €40. So yeah, weight weenies, told you that was good, but then it gets better. So this is the inner that goes in there, and instead of having a coating on there that Jaguar says wears off after a while, they might have a point, they've actually polished the liner, so it doesn't need a coating on it, it is just really slippery. I don't know what it feels like on a bike, but that feels very slippery. Mid-show ride, courtesy of Zwift. We've just stopped by at Santini's booth. Check this out. Released actually in time for the show here is, of course, the Giro d'Italia Leaders jersey for this year. And given that it's the 100th edition of the Giro, this is a very celebratory and special jersey. Quite clean looking, I think you'll agree, but for such a special anniversary, we've got gold accents. That's cool. Diavello have long been industry pioneers of e-bikes. In fact, they've been around for 10 years. This, though, is a brand new model. It's called the Virtuale, and as you can see, it's definitely a road bike. Down that down tube there is the motor and the battery. It kicks out 250 watts, but it's limited to that, and it will give you 400 watt hours. So 250 watts, that's, well, a shade under 2 hours. Best thing about that, though, is it weighs just 14 kilos, so that's less than 30 pounds. For an electric bike, that's pretty good. But can I just say, my favourite is down here. So they've got a collaboration with Pininfarina, who are the automotive design house, and this is their brand new one, the Evoluzione, and that, if you were going to commute on an e-bike, you'd be hard pushed to top that. That is very cool. I've just stopped by at the Ergon booth. Now, you might be more familiar with the brand if you come from a mountain bike background. They do loads of saddles, grips, and brilliantly for me and Lloydie, they still make bar ends. But these have caught my eye from a road perspective. So they're their brand new insoles, okay? And this is really what drew me in. More performance, yes please, more comfort, yep, and increased power transfer. Sounds like a bonus. And the way they've done it is by putting this quite stiff insole in your shoe, and it builds up the outer edge of your forefoot, drops your big toe, and then it supports your ankle. And apparently that is what is going to give you those three things. Sounds interesting. Is this the longest chain in the world? We stopped by at Profile Design because we heard they had something new, and here it is. Sure enough, it's the Area Ultimate Cockpit. Now, clearly, unmistakably, a time trial and triathlon specific bar and stem. The stem is new for the Area range. You can see there, that is seriously aero looking stem, but it's not a one piece, which is great, so you still get that adjustability. And adjustability is, by all accounts, the key to this setup. So even in fact, this is quite a lot of torsion going on here, you can see that the actual extensions can be adjusted on the base bar. Now that is a pretty novel thing there, so you can have your extensions flipped up and your base bar still in its most aerodynamic position. Well, I tell you what, I am definitely not staying in a tent again tonight. I've got a hotel and I've also got my transport. This is a Strider folding bike with a belt drive, in fact. Now, the first thing you need to do right now is subscribe to GCN if you haven't already. It's very simple. To do it, just click on the globe. And then if you're after more videos, well, yesterday's video from here at the Taipei Cycle Show is just one click away. That is just there. Or check out the GCN show this week. Matt and Dan take you through what is hot in the world of cycling. It's just down there.